That night, when I saw my own daughter, the lawyer I scrubbed so many floors to raise, shaking that man's hand, my heart stopped. She knew what he had done. She knew who he was. But when I tried to warn her, she looked me in the eye and said a sentence no mother should ever hear. What she didn't know is that the trial would reveal a secret I had kept for 40 years. My name is Helena. I am 72 years old, and if you look at my hands, you will see they are calloused and rough. I am not ashamed of that. It was with these cleaners' hands, soaked in bleach and soap, that I paid for the expensive books, the law school tuition, and even the graduation suit for my daughter, Vanessa. Today, she is one of the most famous criminal defense lawyers in the city. I should feel proud, shouldn't I? It is every mother's dream to see her child succeed. But that day, as I walked through the glass corridors of her luxurious office, with my simple coat clashing against that marble decor, I didn't feel pride. I felt a lump in my throat. I wasn't there for a social visit. I was there because I found out who her new client was. When I entered the room, Vanessa sighed, annoyed. She didn't even get up from her chair. She said I should wait at the reception, that she was with a VIP client. The man, Ricardo, was sitting there, smiling with that mockery of someone who thinks he owns the world. I looked at my daughter and begged. I said, "Vanessa, you can't defend this man. You know he stole the life savings of those families in our old neighborhood, including Mrs. Sita." My daughter's answer felt like a slap in the face. She said coldly that this was her job. She said that Mr. Ricardo paid the fees that supported the nursing home where I would be living if I kept getting in her way. She told me to go back home, saying I didn't understand the law, that I only understood cleaning. I left there trembling. As I went down the elevator, tears fell without me noticing. I remembered when Vanessa was little, studying at the wobbly table in our kitchen, promising me, "Mom, when I'm a doctor, I'm going to defend the weak, just like you taught me." Where did I go wrong? I sold my wedding ring to pay for her enrollment. I ate plain rice so many nights so she could have meat on her plate. When did money speak louder than blood? The day of the trial arrived. The press was all there. Vanessa was shining, but it was a cruel shine. She used big words to confuse the elderly victims. She made honest people look confused, senile. And the criminal, he was laughing in the defendant's chair. I saw my neighbor crying during her testimony, humiliated, and my daughter just rolled her eyes, telling the judge that those accusations were delusions of age. My chest hurt in a way I thought I was having a heart attack. Injustice was about to win, using the degree I paid for. I was huddled in the back of the courtroom, afraid of embarrassing my daughter, afraid of being abandoned by her like she threatened. But then, I looked at Mrs. Sita crying, and I realized the shame wasn't mine. I stood up. My legs were shaking. They felt like jelly, but my voice came out firm, like never before. I shouted in the middle of the courtroom, "Your Honor, the defense is lying." Silence took over the room. It felt like time had stopped. Vanessa turned pale and shouted back, "Mom, get out of here now. You are crazy." I looked into her eyes and replied for everyone to hear, "No, my daughter. Crazy was me thinking I gave you an education. You learned the law, but you forgot about justice." Everyone was looking at me. Vanessa tried to ask security to remove me, but the judge, curious about this simple lady interrupting everything, allowed me to speak. I opened my old purse and took out an old diary and a cassette tape. I told the judge, "My daughter says this man is honest, but she forgot that before she was rich, we lived in the neighborhood he destroyed. And she forgot that I keep everything." That man, Ricardo, had been partners with my late husband 20 years ago. He stole from our family. He was the reason Vanessa's father died of a broken heart, without a penny in his pocket. And Vanessa, she knew. In those proofs I handed over, there were old emails I had saved where she was negotiating with him. She knew who he was. She sold her own father's honor for a percentage of that dirty money. The courtroom exploded in murmurs. The successful lawyer mask fell right there. She wasn't just defending a client, she was betraying her own family's memory for greed. The judge listened to the tape. It was the missing proof. Ricardo was arrested right there in the courtroom, but the heaviest sentence fell on my daughter. Seeing the police take her client away was a shock, but seeing the look of disappointment from everyone on Vanessa was worse. The Bar Association opened an ethics investigation. The rich clients disappeared. On the way out, she tried to come talk to me with tears in her eyes, saying, "Mom, I can explain." But I didn't see my little girl there anymore. I looked at her with the deep sadness of someone who lost not a daughter, but the illusion of who she was. I just said, "You don't have to explain anything to me, Vanessa. Explain it to your conscience." Today, the cleaner cleaned up the mess the lawyer made. It was hard. It hurt so much to see my daughter lose her prestige. But I regained something more important, my dignity and the respect of my community. Vanessa works in a small office today, starting over from scratch. Sometimes she calls me, and I answer. We are rebuilding our relationship brick by brick, but this time without lies. I learned the hard way that the greatest degree that exists isn't on the wall, in a gold frame. It is in your character. And justice. Oh, my friends, justice may be delayed, but it never fails for a mother who prays and who does not bow down to what is wrong. If you also believe that no money in the world is worth your family's honor, leave your like and subscribe to the channel. Here, the truth always comes out.